So I'm down here in the Dimple garden, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's working here and what isn't. First of all, it's important to understand what time of year it is. This is now March, so we haven't had real rains for a long time. Today's an unusual day. We're getting a little bit of sprinkles, and there was even hail earlier, but normally there's no rain at all for so many months. So the question then is, what can we grow without water in this very dry season? I'm very pleased to find that my theories about how things can work seem to be correct. And we can discuss some other time why irrigation is bad and causes human conflict and sets us up for social failure and stuff. But anyway, we'll take a look at some plants. Down in here we've got Brussels sprouts. We put those in a little bit too late this year. I don't even like Brussels sprouts, but here they are. They're absolutely tiny. They look horrible. I don't want to eat them. But hopefully they'll at least go to seed so I get some seeds. Now, why would I consider these horrible looking little plants a success? Well, first of all, they're living at all. And these little rains we get in the winter may cause them to live long enough to get seeds. In future years, we'll start them a little earlier. It'll still be a failure by my standards since I don't like to eat Brussels sprouts, but of course it's nice to have any kind of food at all. Some other odd little things going on. We've got the old broccoli plants here, and those have gone to seed, and we've collected so many seeds this year. I think we planted some hundreds of seeds, and now we'll have thousands of seeds. But what's interesting is down here, these are actually flowering at this time of the year. Why is that? They're apparently able to survive just on the dew that falls. And we've got the seeds up here, the old seeds. And so that's going to be really interesting to watch what happens when we don't harvest the plant. We don't chop it all up, and we can let it perhaps have a second cycle. It could even be a lot of things that people would grow as annuals, where they're chopping the whole garden down and then they're redoing it. That they can actually have a cycle that is a little bit more sustainable. Look over here. This is the cabbage here. It's just going crazy, just because I didn't chop it down. Now even the cabbage leaves are edible. That's good rabbit food, but we're going to leave this one and the other ones around here in here to see how they do. In here we've got chard. Look how dense that is. Now that may not be big fancy looking chard, but that's edible stuff with no irrigation in the middle of the extremely dry winter when nobody else has anything at all. Because they're only focusing on producing the biggest thing and fertilizing it and watering it. In here we've got a whole bunch of turnips. These I'm leaving here hoping they'll go to seed as well. It's too bad because the rabbits would just love to eat them. Over here we find that in fact the things are being eaten. This one here has been eaten by probably a wild rabbit out here. And I don't mind that. I mean, I want forest animals. This one, the greens have been eaten off of it. All through here you also find tussa holes. Tussas are eating a lot of these gardens. But, I'm not watering them, I'm not fertilizing them. I don't know if I care that there's forest animals that are living on them. The tussas are pocket gophers. They actually live in kind of their own personal root cellar. They grab stuff and store it down there so that they can survive all through the winter. It's very smart. This is a flower. It's not edible, but it's pretty. And then some of these other gardens, well, the corn doesn't do much this time of year. There's parsley over here, which is pretty cool. Those are looking very healthy with no water at all. And there's another thing. I always get those confused. Perejil is one, and well, screw it. But then up here we've got tons of cabbages in these gardens, and they're not big cabbages. Anybody who did things a more traditional way would have already harvested these cabbages and put them in a root cellar. But here, with months and months and months with no rain, they're fine just on the stalk that they're on. And a few get eaten. That's unfortunate. There's a curly kind of parsley or whatever. Well, there's also native plants that a lot of people consider weeds in here. There's a bunch of purple lupins in here that are actually good for the soil. They drive a big taproot down into the soil, and they also look pretty. So I don't really mind having those come in. So what we're seeing is some simple successes this year at gardening out of season in gardens that are really getting no outside help almost at all. And we'll start to be able to adjust that system, put plants closer together perhaps, mix plants in different ways, And of course we've got piles of rotting wood down here, which is going to help the fungus in the soil to make the soil be very rich and have its own forms of biodiversity that you really don't even think about because it's under the ground and they're hard to notice. So this year it's going pretty well in gardens that shouldn't really even be able to survive at all. And we're getting food out of them. Oh, I didn't mention the carrots, did I? They're really small. They're not what you'd want to find in the supermarket. People want nice big carrots, but then you have to pump them up. It's like a person taking steroids to think that they're strong. They're not strong for the long term. They're weak, and they damage the soil. So we've got these tiny little carrots in there, and they're still carrots. They taste very good. In fact, sometimes a smaller carrot is more flavorful because all that flavor is more compacted. I don't know if that's true, but it sounds good.